It just got real. Welcome to the first episode of the Real James Rondon podcast. In this podcast, we're going to talk about real estate because that's my bread and butter. And we're also going to talk about things that really matter, other things that really matter, like current events are going to come up. We're going to wade into the world of politics. We'll talk about sports. We're also going to talk about theology and religion and several other things as well. What I'd also like to do as this show goes forward is have special guests come onto the show. And I'm looking forward to a special guest in the next couple of episodes, so stay tuned. But what we want to do is kind of give a look at things, not just like every other podcast, but we're going to try to get into some topics and look at them a little differently. We're going to approach things from a little bit of a different angle and ask some different questions, some things that not everybody else is saying or asking. For today's episode, I want to give you some content. It's not just an introduction. I do want to talk about what's happening as of right now. And I'm in Kenosha, Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin. I'm in real estate. Like I said, I've been a real estate broker for over 30 years. I'm very involved in real estate, not just on the retail side, the listing and selling side, but also on the investment side. I buy properties. I fix them up and I resell them. I fix them up and I rent them out and hold on to them. I also do property management for people. I'm involved in real estate, all across the board. And it's something that I've grown to love. Originally, I got into it because my dad got me into it. My mom and dad, they were brokers for a long, long time. My sister was in real estate, God rest her soul. And my brother was even in real estate. And I've had other family members get into real estate also over the years. My son right now is in real estate. My second oldest has his real estate license. My first oldest helps me out in real estate. So we've got my mom right now helps me with my bookkeeping. So it's kind of a family affair. But it's something that I've grown to love. It's something that I know. It's something that I've tried to, as I've gotten older, look at from a different angle. And when I was growing up and when I saw my mom and dad going to work all the time and spending a lot of time at work, didn't really like real estate. When I first got into it, my dad kind of talked me into it. I got roped in and drawn in, and when I got married, I kind of stuck. And there was a long time there where it was kind of like, do I really want to do this? Is this really, is this really for me? You only get paid when you actually close on a transaction, so that was kind of hard to deal with originally. You're not getting paid all the time, but as you got better at it, I mean, obviously the ceiling is infinite and the floor hurts pretty hard when you hit it. So you work hard, you make money, you don't, you won't. And what was nice about it is when you did work hard, you start filling up your pipeline. You have several closings happen all at once. It was like having a big windfall. But anyways, I've gotten into it a little more now. As far as on the investment side, and that has been very beneficial and very fulfilling. In that you can not only transform a home that really needed and was begging to be transformed, but you're also able to help people that on the renting side, maybe that are coming out of a bad situation, can't find housing. We make sure to, on our buildings, make them look really nice when the people walk in there so they get a fresh start. We're working with some local programs that actually help people that are displaced on emergency basis. We've housed several of those. I just actually signed three leases in the last couple of days with those tenants coming from those programs. So you get a lot of fulfillment in that because you're really helping somebody out, and at the same time, it's a way to also make a living. So, in saying all of that, just kind of to jump ahead now a little bit on the content side, like I said, is content too. But I wanted to talk just a little bit in brevity about what's happening in the real estate market right now today, and what's going on right now and how it's going to affect the real estate market in the future. I'm from southeastern Wisconsin. The Kenosha market has been a pretty decent market, a strong market. We've had the last several years have been a very good market, especially for sellers, a very difficult market for buyers. We've seen a slowdown. Probably, I would say the last 3 to 4 months, especially the last couple of months. There was an NAR settlement that just happened. The National Association of Realtors was involved in a suit, and they actually had a settlement that caused some of our rules to change. The way we show houses, sell houses, the way we deal with one another as agents as far as compensation and commission. And unfortunately, that slowed things down a little bit. We didn't necessarily anticipate that. I don't think everybody did. Some of us did. But it did have an immediate impact, and we saw the market slow. The market always slows at about this time of year. As I speak to you, it's September 18th, 2024, and this video will hopefully go live tomorrow, September 19th, 2024. But at this time of year, you always have a little bit of a slowdown anyway. Kids go back to school. A lot of the people that were going to buy, they wanted to buy before school started, so they won't have to move their kids. You will see a lot of times a little bit of a buying window between right about now and until maybe a week before Thanksgiving. And then after that, there's a slowdown, and then another buying window until right before Christmas. And then after the first of the year, we see things change again. So one of the reasons it slows down so much here is because at that time of year, like I said, the school situation is one big effect and one big impact. But also, as we get into the winter months, the sun goes down earlier and earlier. And most people work a regular working schedule. I mean, a lot of people work different now, but there are a ton of people that work up until about 3, 4, 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock. If you come home from work and you want to go look at housing, you want to go look at houses, let's say it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it's already dark by 4:30 sometimes in the winter, especially with daylight savings time. So that makes it hard to sell houses because it pushes a lot of the showings into the weekend. So there's a lot of lost time because of that. Plus, just with the cold weather, people don't like to move in the cold. And with the school effect too, you don't want to uproot your kids. So that makes the buying period, the winter buying period, late fall buying period, it makes it slower than the rest of the year. Traditionally, late winter, early spring, especially early spring, that's a really good time of year to buy, or to sell rather. And when you get into the spring, summer market, it's a really good time to sell as well. If you're a buyer and you're looking for some kind of discount, or you're looking for maybe being able to actually get your offer accepted without having to deal with 15 or 20 other offers, sometimes that late fall, winter period is a good time for you to look for a house. The only problem is inventory. That's a time of year where a lot of people take their house off the market. So that can impact the amount of selection you have. So today we are dealing with something that should help the real estate market in the next couple of months and into 2025. And that was the interest rate drop. The Federal Reserve actually lowered the interest rates by 0.5 of a point, or 0.50, and that should take a dent out of some of the slowdown. It doesn't have a point-for-point impact on mortgage rates, but it will impact mortgage rate. It makes the cost of borrowing cheaper. So small businesses, large businesses, they can borrow money, invest their money, and borrow money for capital and reinvest it into their business, and they can do so at a cheaper rate, and more of them will be apt to do it at the cheaper rate. The only question mark, though, that a lot of businesses and investors and even consumers are going to have right now is what's going to happen with the upcoming election. That's, I think, 48 days away, 47 days away, something like that. And that's something a lot of people are really kind of waiting to see what happens. And I think that's going to still impact the markets quite a bit until November 5th. What's to come in the housing market? I want to do some more videos. We'll probably do another video specifically addressing the upcoming several months in the housing market and how I'm looking at it and the questions I have about it and what I think prediction-wise is going to happen in the next couple of months in the housing market. What's going to happen in the election is going to impact that quite a bit. So I'd like to do some videos also talking about the election, my predictions on what's going to happen or what I think might happen in the next couple of months, who I think might win and why, and where that should take us as a country, and how that should impact us as citizens as we move forward. So anyways, that was the first episode of the Real James Rondon podcast. Probably a little awkward still, trying to feel this whole thing out, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to our special guests, and I hope you'll join me the next time.